What is going on, everyone? My name is Northy and welcome back to me, I guess. This is my first round review back for a while. Round number 9. I'm not going to talk too much about anything in between. Let's just get into it. I know you guys have wanted these reviews and these videos very much through comments and such. You guys have still been active and still been subscribing, so I thank you all very much for that. But yeah, let's get into round 9 review. Obviously, by the time this is uploaded, 2 games have already happened. We had Richmond and Geelong, and Gold Coast and West Coast last night as well. So, Gold Coast, convincing win, fairly convincing, 70 points. It's not often that Gold Coast manages to do something like that, but nonetheless, unfortunately, that's how the bottom teams are going this year. Hawthorn, North, West Coast. We all seem to be having those problems. It's just not good. But the Richmond versus Geelong game ended up being the big surprise, with Richmond taking home the win by a solid 20-ish points. Geelong not looking as major as they did last year and as strong as they did last year, but I still think Geelong have a lot of promising potential with some of their younger players. Ollie Dempsey looked really nice. Brian Myers is becoming really solid for him, a really important player for him. So very interesting in total to see Richmond taking that win. But we're going to get into the teams this week. We've got, first off, we've got our Star Powers team that I'm going to show off. It's maybe a bit of a shorter video this time around, but we are still going to try as much as we can and show off as much as we can for this one. Dacos stays the one that we go with. Obviously, last week was probably his toughest game, losing to Sydney. So, was it? No, not losing to Sydney, sorry. The game against Sydney where he was just targeted for the most part. Only the 84, but he still remains one of the most highlighty type players, one of the most consistent ones. Clayton Oliver in here as well, 104 points. It wasn't like anything too crazy. Obviously, Andy Brayshaw took out the big 157, so if you had him, that was a massive win for you. But Clayton Oliver is old reliable. Charlie Cameron remains pretty solid. He's a pretty solid player to continuously put in your Silver Star Powers teams. Chera, 130 last week. Tom Green, surprisingly, has remained ridiculously good this season, so may have to switch him up eventually. But Chera, not a bad choice. And Jeremy Cameron played pretty well. He manages to get himself involved almost all the time, but obviously the game last night not going their way maybe will have a major effect on the way my team looked this week. So we go over to Ultra and there's a few changes. First off, Young Guns. I'm going with Hayden Young instead. Hayden Young, again, he is becoming a reliable player. Doherty had 129, averaging 100. I do have Steel Sidebottom in here for the double points, but you can't always trust those double points players. Noah Anderson, I had to chuck him in though because 132 points, averaging over 100 for the season. If you've got a double points player like that, you got to put him in there. And Jaden Short as well, averaging damn near 100 points. You got to chuck in a double points player in there as well. My Ultra Star Powers teams this year have just been really rough. Obviously, I don't have the top tier players like I did last year that was able to get me so many points like that, but we'll have to change that as we go on to next week. I'm going to look to try and find some double points players who are extra effective and will be good for us. So, nonetheless, we keep it moving. That is our Star Powers lineups. Again, I said it's going to be a short video because I haven't been putting in my my teams. I've been quite busy. I have not been really focused on Teamcoach this year too much, so I haven't really chucked in any results. So last week, I don't have anything. I don't know how this season's really gone for me in general, but I can't really worry about it too much. This is what I'm going for, though, with top 4. Dacos remains in there. Again, I can't go too far away from him. He is leading the season so far for average, so you got to keep him in there, even when he has the bad week. Teams will have bad weeks. This was a crazy week last week for round 8. Look how many people, we had 3 people over 150, 2 over 170, which is stupid. Having 1 over 170 is already crazy enough, but 2 is just different. And we managed to still pick up someone who was in the 100s, although there were plenty to choose from. There was a ridiculous amount. Clayton Oliver gets the nod again this week, though. He remains a really good player. Tim English, he's averaging 124 for the season. There's really no one like him this season. Closest is Nank with 111. He didn't even play last week. I don't even think he played last night either. Just a ridiculous season so far from Tim English. He is very slowly becoming the most effective ruckman in the game. Rowan Marshall, again, remains really good. Sean Darcy has kind of dropped. The likes of O'Brien, Witts, and Darcy, who were so reliable last year, have kind of dropped off. And we've seen a new contender in English who just, yeah, he gets the 20 disposals. He has the 40 hitouts this most recent week. He averages 20 disposals, which is crazy. He averages 7 marks. He just gets involved, and that's what you want to see from Ruckman. And then you go to forwards, and Cameron remains incredibly good. Probably could have gone with Zeeble because now North Melbourne season is starting to see a lot more back time. It's not great, and you can see Zeeble had 168 points because he's grabbing marks, he's getting disposals, and it's all coming just from like chip kicks around the back line. So Zeeble may have to find his way into the top 4 eventually. Cameron, again, I don't know how well, I can't remember how well he played last night, so we'll see how that went, and we will adjust where needed. But we go over to the top 18. The top 18 was a bit of a skim week. I didn't make all too many changes. Maybe the forward line, because I saw people like Errol Goulden, didn't realise he was in the forward, and 161 points. You cannot pass that up. He's the second highest average. Again, cannot pass that stuff up. Maxi Gawn has also been put as a forward player. You can see here only averaging the 81 for the season, but considering that Brodie Grundy is listed as the Melbourne Ruck in this game, Gawn's got to find his way somewhere else, and they put him in the forward. So, yeah, you chuck him in the forward there. I think it's very much worth it. But we go over the others. Charlie Curnow was the one that I picked over Mackay. I usually go between one of the two. Cameron, I picked between him and Hawkins. May have been a mistake, because from what I remember, I only watched till about halfway through the second quarter last night. Then I fell asleep. But no, it was looking like Hawkins had the better game. But Zeeble is the one that is probably going to remain in the forward line for the entire year. He is a backman. I don't know why Teamcoach keep putting him up as a forward, but nonetheless, you can't complain because it's an easy way of getting some points. Next up, though, we go to the midfields. I've chucked in Anderson. It doesn't look like he had the greatest of games last night, so may have been a mistake, but with the way he's been playing so far this season, he's been getting involved. 108 on average is really good. Clary's in there. We got Sammy Walsh in there. Rory Laird has just remained old reliable as always for me. He's just one that always seems to get points. Averaging 120 last year. Only 103 so far. Only the 28 average disposals too. Last year he was dropping 30 disposal games like crazy. So I'm hopeful that we can see some 30 disposal games from him this week. And maybe it's due to the fact that Adelaide as a team has lifted this season. But we'll see what happens for him. Then we've got Tom Green, who has, for some reason, just burst out onto the scene. He has become an incredible player for GWS in terms of points. The marks and tackles all go crazy for him. Averaging 33 for the season. 38 disposals, 6 marks, 9 tackles, and probably a few goals, it looks like, to get 172. Oh no, 170. Dunkley was 172. Ridiculous, ridiculous game from Dunkley. That is nuts. But we go over to the back line. The back line I'm going to go through very quickly because I'm not sure really what to do. There's a few that I go with that I think I'm going to go with every time. Doherty and Dawson. I know that those two remain really, really good often. Will Day, only the 85 points last week. Then we keep going through. Dacos, 84, which won't happen too often. Sinclair, a little bit off All-Australian form, I feel like, from last season. Although I wouldn't be surprised if he does find himself in that discussion again this season with how well the Saints have been playing. Sicily, again, just one that you always want to chuck in. Even though he's only averaging the 95, it's Hawthorn. They are a tanking team. It's going to find its way in the backline more often than not. So often Sicily will have the type of game that blows up because he will just be needed that often. He's a nice intercept mark. He gets himself involved in the backline. He is the kind of like leader of the backline, much like Zeeble, but for some reason Zeeble gets put in the forward line. I don't understand it, Teamcoach. I don't get it. But we keep on moving. Again, I can't tell exactly how I've been doing for the season because I did not upload selections last week. I know that I've definitely gotten points this week, and I definitely know that I've played games in previous weeks that have averaged like a total amount of points, but unfortunately we just haven't found it. Or for some reason it isn't showing up in my top team and star powers season results, so you know, it's whatever. I'm not really too stressed, but we're into it this week. We've at least gotten this week's round 9 preview out, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Again, a bit shorter for our previews usually. I didn't do any tips, and I don't know if I will be doing any tips in the future, as well as no like results to kind of go over or things to compare off, so it makes the episode a bit shorter. But let me know if you like the shorter episodes, who knows. Hopefully we've got some more videos coming out soon. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Again, we'll try my best to get the review out for this round as soon as possible. And I thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.